There it is. User error again. The mute button. Appreciate it. Let me know this thing is going. Try to get into this thing as quickly as we can. I'm excited. Thing has been in the works for a long time. See, you got me with the mute already. You know, this is it. Live. Pretty excited here. No sound. We're back in it. Now, what we talk about here, it's up to y'all. I'm excited. Get this thing going. See, we got some LSU fans out there already. Burrow sweepstakes already going. I am fired up for this thing to work. I think the magic marker for us yesterday was like 15 minutes. The idea with this live thing is we'll see as we go, but I would love to be able to have kind of a weekly scheduled one. Mondays, probably thinking just kind of like a recap, also because the All-22 film hasn't come out yet, so it's a nice way to kind of bridge the gap before we can start breaking down the film. So, real question, see if we can get this thing going. I know I saw some of my favorites out there already in here, so I appreciate y'all coming in, especially internationally. Pretty cool. I know we yesterday got a chance to talk a little Germany, see some South American, Central American, all sorts of craziness out here for people who have been kind of influenced by this channel. I really am having a good time teaching ball, talking football. Want to make it as meaningful as possible to everybody who's spending their time here. I really appreciate it. Nice way to spend a little lunch hour, a little brunch for some of us on the West Coast. All good. Argentina in the house. Pretty sweet. Morocco. I mean, craziness for me. I love the fact that American football, we can see it grow a little bit. And I know it's complicated. It's like me watching cricket to a certain extent. Like, I have no idea what's going on, and having access to what those rules look like, how you actually play the game is something that I'm trying to give to that community. It's pretty cool. UK in the house. Absolutely. Costa Rica. I love it. So whatever we want to talk about, I know I did a little Tannehill video put out this morning. Probably going to do a Patriots offensive video. Haven't quite decided how I'm going to do it. I really want to dive into the Luck film. Haven't gotten a chance to watch the Broncos from last week yet, but I absolutely want to. Germany. There you go. Wisconsin. Freezing. I don't miss those days as far as the weather. That stuff was crazy. San Diego out here. Short sleeves. I'm actually a little chilly. Went for the second cup of coffee here. Hold on one second. All right. See what we got here questions-wise. Which of the 4 QBs playing in the NCAA playoffs has the best chance to be a great NFL QB? Oh, man, I think that there are multiple, right? Like the dude at Clemson, Trevor Lawrence. I think everybody loves his trajectory. I think Joe Burrow came on the scene this year. Craziness. How about that play, the Heisman kind of trophy moment play this past weekend on that scramble kind of play where he kept both hands on the ball as he's running like that? Like, that is someone who has been coached at a really high level for a really long time. Other thing I want to say about this, and this has gotten some traction. I've seen it picked up a couple times on social media, different places. I'm pretty sure that 3 out of the 4 quarterbacks that are playing in the playoffs are all transfers. Okay, so when people start, especially this time of year, when coaches start leaving all these recruits and players that they've had and kind of brought into their family, all this family environment that they have in college athletics, and then these coaches bail on you for a better job, and then they kind of push back to these students being able to transfer, and all of a sudden, there hasn't been a whole lot of success. Now we have 3 out of the 4 quarterbacks in the playoffs are transfers, and so it's fun for me to see the student athlete, or college athlete, as I should say, take advantage of their own kind of mobility and rights and be able to go find the best environment for them. And I'm really excited about those games. I don't know about that LSU-Oklahoma game, but the rest of the game should be pretty awesome. All right, let's see what else we got here. Frankfurt, Germany, I appreciate it. I love it. The Ravens, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I'll talk about how often a play is called for the second, third string receiver being the first read because of something the offense is doing. Zachary, it's hard to say, per se. I don't think very often a play caller is going to call a whole lot of plays for the third wide receiver. I think, sometimes the plays will just be more universal, kind of all-purpose menu plays that, depending on the coverage, will dictate where the ball goes. But in Baltimore, what Baltimore is doing right now on offense, I don't think the world or the American football has seen before specifically. I know there have been versions of it, most often with Roman and the 49ers, with the other Harbaugh doing similar things, but it wasn't at the level that kind of the joystick level that Lamar Jackson is. He is straight up just a freak of freaks. And that's so crazy. When you're in an NFL huddle and you are that much faster and better and more athletic and more dynamic than everybody else, and you play quarterback and you spin it, and you can spin it at a really high level. I think if you go back and watch the film, I think I even did a film on Lamar Jackson last year, and I think that there were some big gaps as far as what he was doing, throwing the ball down the field. Well, those gaps are gone. Combine that with the offense really being tailored to what he does specifically, and that is throw the ball down the field off play action, off all these funky formations, and they, in their run game that they dictate, you have to have someone in the box. You have to have another guy in the box, so you rarely see two safeties back there. Throwing against one safety on tight ends, on crossing routes, something he's been doing really well at a really high level all year. I mean, I don't know how you stop him. I really don't. Yeah, the Von Allen Sports collab. It's coming. It's coming. I appreciate him. He's got it going over there for the Patriots. It's pretty cool to see. Watch that channel. Big fan. Is Julian Edelman a Hall of Famer? Man, that is a touchy subject. I don't know if I had the answer. Luckily, I don't have to vote for it. I think he's been really good for a really long time. I always laugh to think back. You know, I was more a Wes Welker era guy, but Julian is better, more dynamic. He's uncoverable. It's pretty crazy, actually, how much they try to force the ball to him. And he's proven the fact that he can do it. I think sometimes teams now, you watch the Chiefs last week, there were a few times where he was getting doubled, and they still threw him a quick screen. I mean, he had no chance against it, but that's just the reality of what the Patriots have going on right now on the perimeter. How do you order your QB reads? I don't know what that, hit me with that again, Pablo. I don't know what that is. What is the job of the head coach on a game day? That's a good question, Antonio. It depends. You know, some head coaches are calling plays, some are calling defenses. If you're not doing that, it's a combination of game manager. You know, there are elements of oversight as far as using the clock, when you're going to call timeouts, personnel suggestions, you know, down and distance calls. You're going to go for it on fourth, you're going to kick, all of those things that a head coach, and usually in the NFL, you're going to have someone in the box who's also a kind of a pseudo professional to help you with those kind of things. You're going to have someone tracking the clock, all those things to kind of make sure that you're oversight. You're basically the CEO of this game. But it really depends on the organization. What else we got here? Which stats are misleading in your opinion? Well, they can all be misleading to a certain extent. I mean, even, you know, I'm not a guru when it comes to stats. I think you have to look holistically at the entire kind of process. It's not just like how many passing yards, how many passing touchdowns you have. It's all of those things and your record, right? And then I think that's the cool thing about the QBR thing. It like takes in account of like when it happens in meaningful games, fourth down, comebacks, all those things. But at the end of the day, for quarterbacks specifically, it's wins, right? It's wins, it's touchdowns, it's turnovers, it's all of those things. Oh, here's a good question about the iPads, tablets on the sidelines. Do they help quarterbacks? Absolutely. There's nothing like walking off the field and seeing in real time what it looks like. Like, for instance, nowadays, even in high school, you can come off the field and see live video of a play that just happened on an iPad, on a big screen TV. So it's a great teaching tool. It's a great opportunity to not get out coached, get out schemed in the middle of a game, because you can make adjustments with the video right there. So I think that there are lots, absolutely, it's a huge benefit to be able to go off to the sidelines. And even if you know it, like, oh, I don't need to look at the video, I saw exactly what happened, it's nice to be able to confirm it. It's kind of like a pre-snap, post-snap read as a quarterback. So pre-snap, oh, it's middle field closed, I see a safety back there, but then at the snap, they split. Well, I confirmed it after the snap. Uh-oh, Cookie Monster. Hey, JT, love the channel and the live. Thanks so much for the content. Boom, Cookie Monster. I love it, buddy. Hit me with what, I don't even know what that's called. Super chat sticker, super something. Love the channel and the live. Thanks so much for the content. What do you think is going on with my Patriots? Cookie Monster, my favorite Sesame Street character. That's awesome. I appreciate the support. The Patriots, it's funny, man. The Patriots fans are like, as they should be, have really high expectations, but the world is not collapsing in New England. Yeah, they're struggling, certain things on offense. Yes, normally this time of year, they're playing better ball. But again, they have a personnel, concerns on the perimeter. There aren't guys who can separate, who can do all the things that they might have had in the past on the perimeter besides Edelman. And Edelman is never going to be a burner on the outside. He's always going to be a get open on the inside, option route, crossing field, middle of the field, between the numbers type of guy. And so when you don't have someone who Brady has trust in to blow the top off of coverage and take a shot down the field, it allows everybody to sink on you and just squeeze you. And I think then they haven't been able to run the ball as they've wanted to. The offensive line hasn't been as good as it's been in the past. And so then they have to get into this like trickeration type stuff where I don't even know if that's a word, but this idea that they've always been good at trick plays and in timely situations, but now they almost feel like you're relying on it. Like, oh God, they got to have a play. What are they going to do? It's not like, hey, they're going to take a shot down the field, or hey, they're going to throw a screen. It's like, hey, they're going to run a trick play. Like watch the flea flicker, watch the running back pass, like those type of things. Hard to sustain, in my opinion. I think you can get away with it and be timely with those things, but it's one of those things where offensively you just feel squeezed, almost like you're getting suffocated. Nobody can get open for you. And then I think Brady, even on that big touchdown to Edelman on the flea flicker, it's almost like he ran out of club. Like, yeah, I think he could have been in a different location, and I'll probably do a video on the trick plays later. But the idea that like it's a combination of all those things. It's not one like, Tom's deteriorating and they got to get a new quarterback. Like, I don't think that's the answer. I think that they still have a great defense. They're still in a position to have a bunch of home playoff games potentially. They're going to be really hard to beat. They win 2 games in the playoffs, they're in the Super Bowl. That's just how it works in New England. So I don't know if people need to panic as much as it feels like they're panicking. I still wouldn't bet against Belichick and Brady ever. Ever. Samuel, who is your favorite coach in the NFL right now, and why is it Harbaugh? It should be Harbaugh. That's the truth. I think that what they're doing in Baltimore, really, it can't be understated. They essentially handed the offense over to a second-year quarterback. They must have been able to see what we all now see every day in practice. We see in the games they saw last year in practice, to be able to say, we're going to build around this cat. Like, he's that special. And so for a coach to basically reinvent the offense and basically say, hey, Roman, go create a whole new offense to take advantage of this guy's skill set. We'll bring in Ingram. We'll create all these different things. And the defense is playing better. Like, he is my favorite coach. I think he should be many people's favorite coaches. I think other candidates are probably Shanahan with just the play calling and what they're building over there. And really John Lynch, the GM in San Francisco, with what they're building in San Francisco. But Shanahan's always been a play caller the last handful of years at that kind of elite top level. But it's hard not to like, Liquid in the house. Appreciate it, Liquid, with the $2 coming in strong. Can you do a video on the Eagles wide receivers play calling? Yes, that's a good. I'm not going to promise it, but I'm going to say it's definitely going to jump to the top of the list. I know a bunch of people have been hitting me up about what's going on with Carson Wentz, and so I haven't spent enough time diving into the details of what's going on with Doug Peterson and the Eagles. Doug is someone that I played with in the NFL. He was a backup when I was in Green Bay with Brett, and so I'm a big fan of Doug. I think he's a really smart, super sharp dude. He was then. When I was with him in Green Bay, it was right at the end of his playing career, but he had played, decade and a half. I mean, he had all sorts of experiences, knew where all the bones were buried on all those West Coast plays, and it's fun to see kind of how he's taken what they were doing in Kansas City when he was coming up through the ranks coaching with Andy Reid, and then made it his own with Carson Wentz and a lot of some of the RPO stuff that they've been doing in Philadelphia the last few years. I know off the top of my head, without having to just watching the highlights, they're really hurting on the perimeter. And so when you lose your wide receivers or don't have consistency out there, it's hard to get those timing and the big plays that I think many of the Eagles fans were used to with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles chucking it down the field. And when, again, similar to the Patriots to a certain extent, when you are playing quarterback and you feel DBs squeezing in on you and people are sitting on routes and you don't have the capacity to blow by somebody or hit somebody with a double move and go make a play, it makes the field smaller. Even if it's not really smaller, it feels smaller. And so it's hard to play quarterback, NFL quarterback in an arena football field where everything is tight and there's no space to throw it. Windows are already tight. You got to be able to trust those guys to make plays. But if you can't, then all of a sudden, you're frustrated and you see just like the Patriots are reacting like every play is the end of the world. I think that's how it feels in Philadelphia right now, where it's just like, we don't have our guys. We're not playing at full strength, and you don't want to make excuses, but that's just the reality of it. Let's see what else we got here. 130 people in here. Pretty crazy. I appreciate you all coming today and getting into this conversation. I'm glad you made it too, Luke. Good stuff, dude. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the support too. The Lock Skangs pairing. You know, I know Denver fans are really excited, and they should be. I'm going to spend some time probably today or tomorrow watching this past game from Denver. But, I mean, it's 2 starts. Like, I can already say it's a small sample size. And to just be patient. Ho! Von Allen, I appreciate it, man. That's awesome, dude. You're welcome. Looking forward to probably some more collaborations moving forward. I appreciate the passion, dude, and just loving what's going on in New England. Hopefully continue to make it work and see how y'all finish out the end of the year. But I appreciate the support of the channel, dude. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much. What else we got here? Cam being traded. Yeah, I mean, I felt bad for Ron Rivera the last few weeks, you know, getting fired in the middle of the season. Never easy. I think in retrospect, when it's all said and done, it's better to get it done like that as opposed to getting it done on Black Friday and kind of creating this month of just chaos within the building. But there's no easy way to kind of transition as an organization away from a guy like Rivera and Cam and into whatever's new in their building. And you've already seen kind of the unravelings of what a communication plan looks like when you're building in the NFL. It's a bummer. You got to do it quickly. And I don't know exactly what's going on with Cam other than the fact that my favorite Cam is a healthy Cam. Guy was so dynamic at Auburn, so much fun to watch kind of not take over, but come into his own in the league. And then what happened in the Super Bowl, it's just been hard to be able to bounce back. And that's what you just fear. I know it's kind of an easy out to say that these athletic quarterbacks, you know, when they get nicked up, they just aren't the same. And Cam was like a big dude too to get nicked up. So it's always in the back of your head. You know, you just wish that they're healthy. You wish that they get another opportunity. And, you know, other opportunities work. You look at Tannehill right now, the dude is on fire, and he's basically on the hottest team in the league right now. I don't think anybody wants to play the Titans. So it's hopefully Cam finds himself in a better opportunity. If it's not in Carolina, I'm rooting for him. I think he's good for the league when he's healthy, playing at a high level. What else we got here? My favorite Cam is the press conference Cam too. That's funny. That and goal line Cam. It would be a lot of fun to call plays for Cam at the goal line. The guy's unstoppable. Tua or Burrow? That's a tough call. To be honest with you, besides for LSU, maybe against Alabama in this past week, I haven't watched a lot of Burrow. Watched a lot of Tua. You know, I think everybody, if you think about it, still amazed when he came into that game, that championship game, and just lit the world on fire. Like, it was so impressive. And he's been impressive for a long time. Again, the health thing, you hope he's healthy as quickly as possible. I don't think you can go wrong with either. You know, I think we're in a really, Alex in the house. Appreciate it, Alex. I appreciate you saying that. It means a lot to me. I know Duck is like going off in Pittsburgh. I barely even know what his real name is. Someone was giving me the lowdown on this nickname yesterday. I haven't watched that much of them, you know, in the past few weeks. I know he's been going off here in the last few weeks. Probably a good idea if I get into that and do a video, actually. But it's one of those things where I'm a big fan of Mike Tomlin. He was a defense coordinator when I was in Minnesota before he took the job for the Steelers. I remember what a great kind of hire that was for the Rooney family. And so it was just been a big fan of his for a really long time, and excited to see kind of Pittsburgh resurge here at the end of the year, because I think the league is better when Pittsburgh is playing at a high level. Oh, Jack Huffman. This is a good question. Sluggo or hitch and go? I personally like a sluggo. And the reason I like a sluggo is because you keep your momentum going towards the goal line. I think people who that I've had the opportunity to coach learn pretty quickly that I like routes that work towards the goal line. So as opposed to a hitch, I want to throw a slant. As opposed to a curl, I want to throw, you know, a post. And so I like things that continue to the goal line. I know that I also love I think it's easier to throw back shoulders to sluggos because you can just see the space and the tempo of the route the whole time, as opposed to a hitch and go where someone stops. Sometimes hitch and goes like spin out, which I never understood, but I've seen some guys be able to do. I like a sluggo because it creates space for that back shoulder on the sideline, and you can see the kind of separation at the top of the route, as opposed to a hitch and go where someone runs a hitch, the corner drives on it, and they run out of it. Oftentimes you get collisioned, and oftentimes people are slower out of the break than they are into the break, so it's just hard to find that perfect No. We went frozen? Dang. Don't do it to me. No. Well, if you can hear me, I appreciate it. We'll try it again some other time. Got to work on the video. Thanks, y'all.